The popularity of the Nintendo Wii led to the release of many random and unnecessary accessories that weren't even needed to play the games that they were meant for. However, there is one accessory that has topped several lists of the stupidest Wii accessory. The $10 Pega Wii Darts remote kit allowed gamers to convert their Wii remote into a dart. Well, sort of. The accessory, which has been named the most pointless in Wii history, encased the remote in a plastic case which had a fake point on the front and a large flight on the back. Another review, which named it as the worst Wii accessory ever, stated that it had the potential to overtake the Wii dumbbell as the most accidentally destructive video game accessory ever, as throwing Wii remotes at TVs was already a well-known problem with games such as tennis and bowling, where the remote had to be swung towards the TV. In the case of the dart, the remote had to be aimed and followed through like a dart, but any accidental release could spell trouble and cost lots. The accessory was brought out around the same time as the 2008 PDC Darts Wii game, which attempted to solve the deficiencies of the first PDC game. Darts on a console was already a flawed idea, as anyone can play darts cheaply and easily, either in a social setting or at home, by buying their own board and darts. However, for some reason back in 2006, game developers thought it would be a good idea to develop a darts video game. Mere Mortals, a now defunct game developer, was chosen by publisher Oxygen Interactive to develop an officially licensed PDC Darts game for the PlayStation 2 and PC. The game was the first darts game for the PS2 and took the developers a year to create. The developers used photos of 10 of the world's top players to develop character models. The first game featured 10 players: Taylor, Van Barneveld, Hart, Priestley, Lloyd, Manley, Warren Little, Dudbridge, Mardell and Lewis. As you can see, the models were clearly not great. In this game, players aimed using the controller's right stick and used the left stick to pull back and release the dart with an amount of power. Players could play in an amateur mode where a power meter was visible, or in professional mode where there wasn't one. There was a quick game mode, party games such as Round the Clock and Killer, as well as 5 different tournaments. However, the most interesting feature was a career mode where you could design a custom player and play in tournaments to progress up the rankings. The venues for the game were created based on the real ones, and Sid Waddell provided commentary. Despite the challenges of creating a captivating darts video game, it received some decent reviews, for it being considered the good first try at a console darts game. The critics felt the mechanics were too basic and repetitive, and suggested that a motion-sensitive Wii version would be better. A year later, PDC World Championship Darts 2008 was released. The Wii remote should have been great for a darts game, but the developers failed to capitalise on this. Players could throw by pointing at the screen, pressing the A button on their target and thrusting their arm forward, whilst releasing the button when the power was optimal. This method was given bad reviews as the controls were unresponsive, making consistency hard. Alternatively, players could use a Wii nunchuck to throw in a way similar to the PS2 version, which was much more responsive, but again fairly boring. The graphics in this version were not much better, being described as nothing short of dreadful in this GameSpot review. The players remained motionless before releasing each dart, and the crowd barely moved or reacted to the visits. The game sounds were also given bad reviews, with the commentary being very repetitive and sentences short.
Like a rubber shooter.
140.
It was described as being the best darts game ever, with the reviewer stating that this wasn't saying much. It was even described as being a contender for the worst game of the decade by IGN. 1 year on, PDC World Championship Darts 2009 was released, now with a new developer, Rebellion Developments. The reviews for this game were better, with the Wii remote being utilised in a much better way. The nunchuck method was removed, but the other one was much improved, with a circular power bar making it much more natural and responsive. Phil Taylor and James Wade attended the launch of the game and spoke about the throw, as well as playing a game against each other.
How realistic is it when you have a throw? Because I know there's a lot of time being spent on getting that throw just right.
Same, exactly the same. Obviously, you got the remote control in your hand.
Yeah.
Exactly the same action, about the same strength as well.
Whilst the throwing method had improved, the graphics were still given bad reviews, with the player models being described as looking like they have been made out of clay. The player's wrists also looked weird, particularly Van Barneveld's. There were also improvements in the sounds, with pub-like sound effects being added, and the commentary being improved. However, every single player walked on to chase the sun, rather than their own walk-on song. On GameSpot, the reviews went from 3.5 to 6.5. The final PDC console game came out in 2010 with the release of PDC World Championship Darts Pro Tour. The graphics were improved significantly for this version, with the game being the first HD one in the series. The player models were also far more realistic, as were the venues. Apart from that, the game remained fairly similar, helping the rating to increase to 7.5. We haven't seen another PDC console game since this, and I suspect it might stay like this forever. Darts is a great game to play in real life, and there is not really a need for it to be played on a console. Whilst the gimmick of using a Wii remote to throw led to some decent games, the advancements in technology have meant far more is possible on consoles, and darts has been left behind. However, I do think that app darts games can be successful, with some having lots of players already. The PDC have also teamed up with apps in the past, which is likely the future of PDC darts games. However, the games are interesting pieces of darts history, and can be bought in the UK for not much more than £1.50 now on websites like CEX. For not much more than 30 quid, you can also now buy a Wii, which is crazy, so if you want to have a go at the games, you could even buy one. You might have one laying around at home and just need to buy the game for £1.50, but if you want to try a unique piece of darting history, then it might not cost you too much. I might even have to buy one myself, have a quick go. It might be good if I ever do any commentary videos, a backing game, something like that. And as for the accessory, I don't know where you can get it anymore, but if anyone's used it in the past, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.